Hello and welcome to the show. On the program tonight, students are curling for a greener future. The Lakeland Enviro Club throws some rocks to raise money for their upcoming projects. And the curtain has been drawn on the Vic Juba Theatre's season. What's coming up and who's coming to town? But first, the Saskatchewan election isn't until November, but it's on Dwain Lingenfelter's mind. The Saskatchewan NDP leader is hoping for a comeback this year. He takes the chair right now on Around the Region. Later in the show, some Vermilion curlers were trying to stay on their feet. They were tossing stones in hopes of a greener community. Full details coming up. Welcome to the show. With me in studio right now is Saskatchewan NDP leader Dwain Lingenfelter. Thank you so much for coming in.
Great to be here, Whitney, and thank you for the opportunity to come and chat with you for a few minutes.
Not a problem. So you are in Lloydminster talking to constituency, right, and just doing some constituency work. What are you hearing from the people here?
Well, the big issues we're hearing in Lloydminster in the area is that healthcare, as we go into the next budget, is something the Wall government really has to deal with. The shortage of doctors across the province, long waiting lists, and ambulance service are the biggest issues I hear in the area. Overlaying that, of course, though, is the cost of living, and many families saying they can't make ends meet because of rent or the cost of SASK power rates. And so those two issues are the biggest ones we're hearing here in the city.
We do have a renovation going in the local hospital here. Is that something you're hearing praise for, or something that you're just hearing it's too little too late?
Just haven't heard much about it, except to say that a lot of the healthcare workers are still frustrated during the recent work period when they were working on their contract. A lot of them feel that they weren't treated very well by the provincial government. But over and above all that, many families are concerned about long waiting lists and the shortage of doctors. The hospital, a nice addition to the community, there's no doubt about that, but still overlaying all that are healthcare concerns with the Wall government.
Now, the recruitment of doctors you mentioned there is a big issue here in the border city as well. We're facing an election year. Do you think that the NDP government could do better?
Well, I think we have to do better. I think there's no doubt that some work has gone into this by the present government, but it isn't working. Last year, for example, 46 doctors moved out of the province, only 23 doctors moved in. So we have an increase of about 50% in the doctor vacancies in the province, and there just has to be a better job done of recruitment and retention on that side. And I think we can do a much better job than's being done at the present time.
Now, you guys are also talking about just making a greener Saskatchewan, and the NDP government in 2007 released the Saskatchewan Energy and Climate Change Plan. You're saying that the current government has strayed from that a little bit. Good thing or a bad thing?
Well, if you look at the record of the Wall government as it relates to carbon emissions, they've done literally nothing to improve our situation. We had a very big wind generation program going in SASK Power under the previous government, under the NDP, and we want to restart that program and get it going. And I've made a commitment that by the year 2025, the power production in this province would be 50% from renewable energy. That would include wind, solar, and also conservation, as well as geothermal, which we have a lot of opportunity in this province.
How are you putting pressure on the Wall government to get that done?
Well, we raise it in the House on a regular basis. We talk in press conferences about the need for more green energy in this province. The other thing we have concern about, of course, are the emissions from the oil sands in Alberta. A recent study coming from the federal government that indicated that 70% of those air emissions end up in Saskatchewan. And we're looking at a private member's bill in the next session that would call on the Alberta government to pay for a monitoring system to make sure we benchmark how much pollution is coming from that oil sands project, and if there is damage or hardship done on Saskatchewan families, that we be properly compensated for that.
Now, the Wall government is bragging their mid-year fiscal budget just came out, and they're on par. Their numbers are up. Do you acknowledge that's a good thing, and that they're doing
well? There's a lot of money. There's no doubt that we're making a lot of money on potash and oil. The question is, who's getting the money? It's true, the Wall government has a lot of money. The CEO of the Potash Corporation, we know, is eligible for $500 million in share options. But when I talk to families across the province and here in Lloydminster, many of them are telling us that they just aren't getting their fair share. And it doesn't help much to have a booming economy if the families who are working aren't being benefited and aren't making a big increase the way I think they should be.
We're going to talk more about these issues just on the other side of this break.